Hey guys, how's it going? Ricky here from Most Valuable Podcast, here to give you our playoff rankings, the second ones of the year for the 2015 season here in college football. If you're new, this is the first time you've ever checked out a ranking video here on Most Valuable Podcast. Here's how it works. Brandon Swanson and myself put together our personal top 25s for the playoff rankings. We go and add those together. For example, if a team like, Ohio State's number one, they get 25 points. We add them together. If the team is 25 in the rankings, they get 1 point. Sums get added together. That spits out for our MVP playoff rankings. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. The first group of five, we're going to have 25 through 21. Ties are out of the window from now on because we're in the playoff rankings. Can't have no ties when it comes to getting into the playoffs. 25 through 21, though. We have at 25, the Wisconsin Badgers. Then at number 24, the Navy Midshipmen. Number 23, the Memphis Tigers. Number 22, the UCLA Bruins. And number 21, Mississippi State Bulldogs. And this is one where Bulldogs move up a little bit, Bruins move up a little bit. Navy and Wisconsin getting in there. Memphis moves down from 15. And the big one in this group is that Memphis-Navy game. Navy upsetting Memphis, just straight up killing the Tigers' playoff chances. There's no way Memphis is going to be a playoff team now. However, Paxton Lynch, don't keep your eye off of him. There's a good chance that he gets drafted very well in the NFL draft this upcoming summer. And I mean, Navy, I had him higher than Brandon did, believe it or not, because I'm the guy that has been given a team like Memphis credit this entire year. But yeah, I mean, Memphis, to me, this was the shot that killed their playoff chances this season. Then we got our next group of five, 20 through 16. We've got at number 20, the Temple Owls. Then at number 19, the Northwestern Wildcats. Number 18, the Florida State Seminoles. Number 17, the Michigan State Spartans. And at number 16, the TCU Horned Frogs. And the big one from this group, right up there at the top, TCU, Michigan State. Michigan State losing a heartbreaker to the Cornhuskers. Really? The Cornhuskers? You gonna let Nebraska beat you? The team that, the higher-ups at Nebraska, oh, you know what? The future's bright with Riley. The fans shouldn't have to worry, although some of the fans were kind of panicking with how bad the team has been this year from what they're used to. Get a nice solid win against Michigan State. Hasn't killed their playoff chances yet. The reason why I say that is they still got a big game against Ohio State coming up, so they still have a chance to win the Big Ten Conference. If they do that, they can be a one-loss team in the playoff. But for right now, they're number 17 in our rankings. TCU, to me, they're done. They are done. There's no way a one-loss team in the Big 12 is getting in to the playoff, because if there's one-loss teams and no one goes undefeated, we're probably going to have co-champions galore in the Big 12. TCU, I'm sorry, your season is done. Sayonara. The only thing you have left to do is make sure that Baylor doesn't become that undefeated team to make the college football playoff. And then Florida State can't beat Clemson without Jameis Winston. Northwestern moving up. They were non-ranked in our playoff rankings last week, and then Temple moves up as well. But let's move on. This is actually going to be the next four over here. At number 15, the Houston Cougars. Number 14, the Oklahoma Sooners. Boomer Sooner. Number 13, the North Carolina Tar Heels. And at number 12, the Florida Gators. And Gators getting a not-so-decisive win this past week. To me, that's why I kind of had them lower than they should have. That's why they moved down in our playoff rankings. North Carolina, what a win against the Dukies. What a win. 66 points. 66 points. This is a team that has a chance to play Clemson in the ACC title game. they have a chance to beat Clemson in that game. And if they do beat Clemson in that game, there's no way the ACC is making the college football playoff. Then you have Oklahoma, who is kind of, like I said in the Primetime podcast this week, and check it down in the link down below. They're kind of like the wild card in the Big 12. And then Houston, now that Memphis is gone, are they the non-Power 5 team, the Group of 5 team that everyone's rooting for to try to get into the playoffs? Seems like it, because Temple and Memphis already have a loss. But the next group, we're going back to the Group of 5, 11 through 7. At number 11, we've got the Michigan Wolverines. Number 10, the Utah Utes. LSU coming in at number 9. Stanford at number 8. And then Baylor coming in at number 7. And I know you're seeing that number. You're going, Ricky, how does Baylor fall from 2 to 7? Here's the way I think about it. There were teams this week that got better wins, one of them being in Baylor's conference. You'll see that team later. Baylor, to me, didn't look like a playoff team with Jarrett Stidham at the helm. You could check, yet again, that Primetime podcast down below for the elaborate discussion on that. LSU losing to Alabama. It's going to knock them down. I mean, Utah moves up a little bit. Michigan moves up a little bit. Michigan has a chance to get back in. Utah has a slim chance. They got to win the Pac-12, though. And to do that, they'd have to get through Stanford, who's sitting there right under Baylor. But here's the teams you guys care about. And before we get to the top 4, the top quattro teams, we got to look at the 2 that are staying out. And we had 2, 6 and 5. Had to group them together because we had, technically they were tied. Me and Brandon had to have a discussion who gets pegged where in the pecking order, you could say. And at number 6 coming in, the Iowa Hawkeyes. I personally had these guys as number 4 in my playoffs. I feel like out of the Big Ten winner, I would rank them higher than Ohio State right now. Brandon disagreed. And then at number 5, me and Brandon were actually dead spot on even with this team. Notre Dame, they'd be the first team out of our playoff. And the thing with Iowa is, I mean, I hate when analysts say this, but it's true. These rankings don't matter right now. Iowa can win out. They can get into the top 4. Notre Dame can win out, get in the top 4. But if the playoffs started today, season ended today, these 2 teams not making the cut. But who will? Let's see what the top 4 is for the MVP this week. And at number 4, the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes coming in at number 4, dropping from number 1 last week. But let's be honest, me and Brandon were not as bold as we were, as the committee was last week. Then you have Oklahoma State coming in at number 3. I had this team ranked pretty high this week. I mean, you got to. They just wiped the floor with TCU. Then at number 2, Alabama. And this is a team, they were my number 1 team in the nation this week because of their win over LSU. Brandon disagreed, and that means the number 1 team in our rankings this week, the Clemson Tigers. So if the playoffs ended today, we would see semifinal matchups between Clemson, OSU, Bama, and Oklahoma State. And this playoff would be interesting because I feel like Clemson, Ohio State would be a good game to watch. However, Oklahoma State, Bama would be pretty good as well because the one thing Bama does well on defense, they know how to play the pro-style offense. That's why they stopped LSU. Plus, they have a good defense. However, Oklahoma doesn't play that pro-style. Like the Baylors, the Big 12s, they have that more spread offense. Gives Alabama a little bit of trouble. And that's why that would be an interesting matchup. Out of these 4 teams, out of these matchups, I would lean towards Clemson and Bama being our playoff teams. Don't ask me to pick a winner out of the 2 of them because I just don't know who would win between Bama and Clemson yet this year. But that is going to do it for our college football playoff rankings for Week 11 of the college football season. Let us know down below what you think of our rankings. Who is ranked too high? Who is ranked too low? Who would you have in your top 4 this week if the season ended today? You can go right up there, hit the important links like the Twitter, Facebook, Patreon page, and of course that subscribe button. Thank you guys for checking out this video. It really means a lot to us. And as always, have a good day, everybody.